Today I want to show you how to set your timing on a Juki LU-1508. This one is the 1508N submodel, but this is very similar procedure for all of the sub variants. One thing to note is if you have the NH, that one will actually use a 190 needle system, where the rest of them use a more typical 135/17. Now before you go adjusting your machine's timing, make sure it's not a simple fix, so I'll list all the common culprits at the end of the video. So we'll start by taking off the slide plates and the throat plate, the feed dog and the presser feet, but leave the needle in, that'll be helpful. These little stubby screwdrivers are certainly helpful for getting in there to remove that throat plate. I especially like the ones with the flats on it, so you could get a wrench on it if you need it to remove a stubborn screw. Take note on the back of the throat plate, there's a little notch, and that needs to correspond with the tab on the bobbin case, so when you put that back together, make sure those two parts align. And the feed dog will come off by removing these two screws. And we'll pull that out of there. Big U-style bobbin on this machine. That's super handy for larger projects, but we'll pull that out for now. Now I've actually been running this machine with a longer 190 needle system, and I had to kind of tweak the needle bar height, 3/16 higher in that case. But what I'll do is I'll switch it back over to the standard 135/17 needle, so everything will look just like your machine. Okay, now I have the standard needle reinstalled. This is just a flip down edge guide here. Don't let that fool you. Make sure as you're inserting that needle that it goes all the way up into the needle bar, and orient the needle so that the long groove is on the left side and the little notch or scarf is on the right. And here's an example of a machine that's way out of time. We can see that as the hook crosses the needle, it's actually below the needle. And the ideal situation there is you want the hook to cross the needle about 1/16 of an inch or 1.5 millimeters above the eye of the needle. And that stat is actually 2.5 millimeters above the eye if you happen to be working on the 1508 NH model. Ideally, you'd set your stitch length to 0 before you get started, and I've done this both ways, and honestly I haven't noticed much difference, but by the book it's best to start with a 0 stitch length. Get yourself some cardstock and you can make up these little gauges. Now these are about the size of a credit card, and I set them up the same way regardless of the machine. Here's one for a 1541S, and I have two dimensions on this. One is the dimension that the needle bar extends from the machine at the bottom dead center position, and then I flip it over this way and there'll be a notch removed. And this is how far up I need to raise the needle bar for the timing position, and then here's the dimension that I set that needle bar to when I'm timing that machine. Well, this is the machine we're looking at today. For the 1508N, the position of the needle bar at bottom dead center will be 56.7 millimeters. And then you want to raise that up 2.3 millimeters. Now that's right at 3/32 of an inch. And that'll leave you with the needle bar extending 54.4 millimeters from the machine in your timing position. So find that bottom dead position where the needle won't go any lower, right there. And use the longer side of your gauge, and this bottom part of the needle bar needs to be set to the bottom of this cardstock. And again, the reason it's not is because I had this modified to use a 190 needle system. And the screw to allow that adjustment is just inside the left cover plate here. That's the needle bar clamp screw, so we'll loosen that up and adjust the needle bar height quite a bit higher in this case. Now you just want to loosen this enough to make an adjustment, not enough that it drops freely. There we go. Okay, so I'm at the bottom dead center position, so I'm working off this longer side of the cardstock. Looks like I need to drop the needle bar a little more from there. So as you adjust this, just keep in mind there's nothing to keep this thread guide facing forward. There's no flat on the needle bar or anything, so you have to manually position that as you tighten up the clamp. Okay, so while it's still at bottom dead center, the needle bar position now matches the spec for this machine, so we'll go ahead and tighten up the needle bar. And for any of these timing adjustments, make sure to take the time to get a screwdriver that fits just right. I have about 15 flat screwdrivers, and they're just for working on sewing machines. Give it the old double check to make sure nothing shifted as you tighten the screw. That one looks good. Then what you do is flip this card around and continue rolling the hand wheel towards you until the bottom of the needle bar aligns with that notch. That is actually the timing position. And before we move on to the rotary hook timing, I just want it to be crystal clear what your needle to hook orientation should look like. The hook should cross 1/16 or 1.5 millimeters above the eye of the needle. So you can see right there is where it crosses. I continue rolling the hand wheel towards me, and then I start to see the eye of the needle. So in a more general seat of the pants type of way, the hook crosses about the center of the scarf of the needle. Okay, under the machine there's two gears. There's a small gear here, then there's a large gear here. The screws that we're going to loosen to reset the timing are two on the larger gear. So this next bit really isn't part of the timing procedure per se, but if you're struggling and your machine keeps going out of time, here's one you can check to make sure that was installed correctly the last time. Basically rotate the hand wheel towards you, and the first screw that comes into view on this small gear, remove that and make sure that it's sitting in a groove. We'll pull that out just to take a look. We're not loosening both screws, just this first one that comes into view. I always drop this in the oil bath. Hey, I caught one. So inside that hole you should see that there's a V-ditch or a notch that screw sits in. That one looks good, so I'll go ahead and reinstall that screw and we'll move on to setting the timing. Okay, so the timing will be unchanged just by doing that. Then we'll move on to the larger gear. There's two screws on that we'll loosen up to reset the timing. This first one that comes into view as you roll the hand wheel towards you should be sitting in a notch or a V-groove. So we'll loosen the second one up first. And I always like screwdrivers with flats on the handle so I can focus my effort on pushing it into the machine while I just break the fastener loose. There we go. And we'll go back to that first screw that comes into view and loosen that one up. There we go. So the critical thing to know is you make this adjustment by tapping this large gear left or right, and that's what will alter the hook position. Use your gauge again to put the machine back into the timing position. Right there. And in that timing position I can see that my hook is just slightly slow. It hasn't quite made it around to the needle yet. To speed up the hook, just tap the gear this way and small adjustments and recheck it. So the machine is tipped back now, and I'll just gently tap that large gear until the hook directly aligns with the needle. If you go a little too far, just come in and tap it back the other way. Snug up the two screws, the V-groove one first, and then roll the hand wheel a bit and hit the other one. Snug it up tight, but you don't have to strip them out. There we go. If you find yourself tipping the machine up and down quite a bit, it's really helpful to remove the belt from the motor, because just tipping back the machine, the belt can rock the position slightly and throw the adjustment off. Okay, with the machine upright, let's have one more look at it. Roll the hand wheel towards you till you're in the timing position, slightly elevated from that bottom dead center position. And it's at that moment that the hook should be directly adjacent to the needle. Alright guys, stick with me. We're just about done. Your hook timing is set. All we need to do now is check the hook spacing to see if a slight adjustment to the hook saddle might be required. And then you can do your light testing and finish up the project. After all, you just saved yourself $400 by doing the timing yourself. So if overall this was a helpful topic, give me a quick thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so you might have to lift the machine up and lay it on its back on the workbench. And this is the hook saddle, and this is the whole area that needs to be adjusted, either left or right, to set your hook spacing. Now, the factory says the hook spacing should be 0.05 to 0.1 millimeters. Well, that's pretty hard to measure, so in functional terms, we're just going to set the hook as close as physically possible to the needle without touching it. And to do that, we need to loosen two fasteners, a large flat-headed screw here, and then a 6mm hex key screw just here. And this will take a nice sturdy flat screwdriver. It's a good sized screw. Again, I use a wrench to break that loose. Nice. 6mm Allen wrench. There we go. Just loosening it enough to be able to tap that saddle left or right. With the machine still on its back, take a look at how close the hook is to the needle. Kind of a strange upside down view here, but don't worry about the hook timing anymore. Just simply position the tip of the hook right at the needle. And then just tap the saddle a little bit left and right as needed to get that spacing correct. I'll tap it away a bit so you can see what incorrect spacing looks like. And in sewing terms, that would be a ton of space between the hook and the needle, so you definitely need to tap the saddle closer. As you approach the needle, you also want to make sure that the hook doesn't contact the needle. Just get it nice and close in that scarf and tighten up your fasteners. Sometimes it helps me if I put my finger on the needle just to feel the tick-tick of the hook if it's a little too close. Looks like we're clearing. Let's try to go just slightly closer. Here the hook is actually too close to the needle. The hook is not catching on the needle, but rather I can see and feel the hook guard deflecting the needle to prevent that, so my spacing is a little too close there. Right there. With the machine upright again and a little backlight, we can double check it. There's no deflection of the needle and the hook is just about as close as it can get. Looks good. You can put your feed dogs back on and the throat plate, but just another reminder, as you put that throat plate on, make absolute certain that this little tab finds its way underneath the little notch in that throat plate. If your bobbin case is floating around like this, it's not going to sew right. The tab needs to be up in that notch, just like that. Let's drop in that big U-style bobbin and give this machine a little test drive. Make sure to reset your stitch length to somewhere in the normal operating range. Hold your threads back to lock in the first couple stitches, and let's see how we did. Make sure that you can sew normally and forward and reverse, frequent direction changes and speed changes. Adjust your tension and you're good. Okay, so earlier I mentioned there's a list of things you should check before you get into a full timing service, and really those are, you want to make sure you have the correct needle system. So again, with the N or the NS subvariant of the 1508, you're looking at a 135/17 needle. It's called the 135/16 if it happens to have a leather point. But on that NH variant of this model, it's actually a longer needle system. It's a 190 needle system. So if you just inserted the wrong needle, it would make the machine seem like it was out of time. Another thing you want to confirm is that it's not just a popped safety clutch. That's really easy to put back in place, but the symptom there would be as you roll the hand wheel, your hook wouldn't rotate or it wouldn't rotate in time, and that's a quick and easy fix. Well, that wasn't too bad. Basically, these are adjustments you can handle on your own if you've got a good set of flat screwdrivers and a little bit of time on Saturday. But do make sure to check the engineer's manual so you get the exact right specification for your timing position on your model and submodel. I'll put a link to the engineer's manual down in the description box. I'll also add a link to the 1508 machine if you're in the market for a new industrial. And as always, if you've got questions, fire away in the comment section. And in case you thought I was kidding about the screwdriver selection, I was not. And what about you? Oh yeah.